Now available in paperback and Kindle, Stop Simping in Cyberspace. Learn how to avoid predatory females like Instagram models and e-girls in their virtual con games with Stop Simping in Cyberspace. Get your copy of Stop Simping in Cyberspace in paperback and Kindle today. A New Jersey man flew all the way to Florida to attack another gamer over an online beef.
Police say this gamer flew from Newark, New Jersey to Jacksonville, Florida to attack another player with a hammer after a dispute during an online fantasy game called ArcAge. Police said that 20-year-old Edward King landed in Jacksonville on June 21st, checked into a hotel, and went to an Ace Hardware store to purchase a hammer and a flashlight. Then, on June 23rd, wearing all black clothing, gloves, and a mask, King allegedly entered the victim's home and attacked him. Police said the victim's stepfather was awakened by his stepson's screams for help and called 911. He told police he found his stepson on the floor struggling with King. Deputies said they found a significant amount of blood in the entryway of the home and in the victim's bedroom. Both Kang and the victim were taken to a hospital. Police said the victim sustained severe head wounds, but they were not life-threatening. After King was released from the hospital, he allegedly told a deputy that the victim is a bad person online and asked how much time in jail he might serve for breaking, entering, and assault. Jail records show King has been charged with attempted second-degree murder along with armed burglary.
Now, according to reports, 20-year-old Edward King allegedly got into an online dispute with another gamer over the game ArcAge, which is similar to the game of World of Warcraft. And as Edward King got into this dispute with this fellow gamer, he allegedly got so incensed that he decided to leave his Newark, New Jersey home and decided to get on a plane and fly all the way to Jacksonville, Florida. And once he got to Jacksonville, Florida, he got a hotel room, then went to a hardware store and picked up a hammer. Then, after getting the hammer, he allegedly went to the home of the individual who he had the beef with, and after entering the home through an unlocked door, proceeded to assault the individual who he believed he was having a dispute with online. And if it wasn't for the intervention of the gamer's stepfather, who separated the individuals, then contacted 911, Edward King basically would have gotten in this home and murdered this young man. However, police were able to come to the scene and eventually arrested Edward King for the attempted murder of this fellow gamer. Now, the Tallahassee police see this as an isolated incident, but when I take a critical examination of the alleged behavior of Edward King, it definitely fits the pattern and profile for beta males that I talk about in my book, The Man Crisis. And it's clear to me that Edward King definitely wasn't raised with the male life skill of knowing how to conflict resolve and problem solve based on the dysfunctional behavior he is alleged to have been participating in as related to attempting to murder someone over a video game. Now, this whole incident is quite troubling because it shows that Edward King has a real serious problem as related to understanding the concept of not only conflict resolving and problem solving, but also doesn't understand the concept of boundaries. Now, when it comes to most of us as related to the internet, we establish boundaries online. We have two sets of boundaries as related to how we conduct ourselves on the internet. One is that people who are healthy establish a physical boundary between themselves and people in real life and online. And we also establish a virtual boundary between ourselves and what goes on the internet. And as related to that virtual boundary, it's a line that we don't cross from the virtual world into the real world, because people understand that we have to look out for our intangibles such as our health, safety, and our freedom. Unfortunately, in the case of Edward King, he didn't really, I believe, get the proper male life skills or male survival skills to understand the concept of establishing boundaries. And because he didn't get the male life skill of establishing boundaries, he didn't understand how important it is to establish a virtual boundary between yourself and people online. And when it comes to people on the internet, you have to take people on the internet with a grain of salt, because you don't need to do anything to people online who are being a problem. No, the only thing you do with individuals who are looking to start drama or problems is what you do is you go out and you block these individuals. And after you block these individuals, what you do is move on with your life. That is what a healthy person does whenever they see a person looking to start conflict online. What a person does when they see a person trying to start conflict online is they look to resolve the conflict immediately, and they look to resolve the conflict immediately because they understand that there are more important things that they need to do online. And because you're online, what you want to do is, if you're dealing with a person who's causing trouble, you want to go out here and just block that individual, and that basically resolves the conflict. Now, I know there are some people who are just really, they just have issues, and what they want to do is, after you block them, what they will do is go out here and get their sock puppet accounts, and what they will do is, because this person has stacked up an amount of accounts, once they see one account get blocked, they go start another. But the person who's good at conflict resolution, what they do is they go out and they just keep blocking these individuals. And if that doesn't stop, what they do is contact the gaming provider and let them know that this person is harassing them, let them find the IP address and then block that person's IP address. Again, this is all about conflict resolution. Unfortunately, Edward Kang allegedly didn't understand how to conflict resolve, and instead of him understanding how to conflict resolve, what he did was get into a vicious codependent cycle with this individual online, where they were possibly getting into a back and forth. And as they got into this back and forth, Edward Kang didn't know how to navigate through his emotions and know to, yes, you may have the feelings, but you can't act on those feelings, and you can't act on those feelings impulsively to the point where you look to sacrifice your intangibles of manhood, such as your dignity, self-respect, and sacrifice more important things like your self-safety and freedom, all to look to sate your feelings for a moment. That's what a man understands, but Edward Kang didn't understand this. And as he got into this internet dispute with this person thousands of miles online, he was simmering and boiling in anger at this person over this game, simmering and boiling in anger to the point where he basically was sitting there planning to go after this individual in the real world, because he possibly found the username and then looked to hack into the systems of this game and eventually found the personal information of this individual. And after finding the personal information of this individual, he possibly then looked to escalate his behavior to step over his own personal boundaries and the virtual boundary online. And this is where he decided, with malice of forethought, to get a plane ticket, pay for this plane ticket, then go reserve a hotel, then go and get on this plane, fly thousands of miles from Newark, New Jersey, all the way to Jacksonville, Florida, then got a hotel, went to a hardware store, and then got a hammer, then went to the home of that individual and looked to try to murder him over things that were possibly said over a headset over this game. And as I just go over all these details, again, it boggles my mind that this kid would go this far, because no person is worth that much to be making that kind of plan over if you're having a beef with them over a video game. I mean, I look at that and it just boggles my mind. This dude goes out here takes money out of his bank account to go pay for a plane ticket and a hotel room, and then go to a hardware store to get a hammer, all to go get a guy who he's having an issue with online. I mean, this is just absolutely insane as I see it, because video games to me were never that serious, but I have had encounters with individuals who were on this level, and I can tell you that there's sometimes you deal with people like this, it just makes you shake your head that this person is taking it that far. Now, back when I was a little boy, my father and I came from the barber shop on Frederick Douglass Boulevard, and my father and I, we walked all the way across the bridge to 149th Street, and there was a Super Pac-Man game inside of a store, and my father let me go play that game. Now, as I played that game, he gave me a quarter, I believe, and I put the quarter in the game. And once I put the quarter in the game and I played it and lost, my father, I remember that time, he said, oh, okay, your quarter is done. And I just accepted that. And it was a lesson that I learned, and it stayed with me to this day, because I was about maybe 9, maybe 10 years old. But I remember that lesson, and I remember that lesson from my father. And again, that taught me, okay, you played your quarter, you lost your quarter, and then you move on. And that was something that stayed with me until I got 14 years old. And I remember being 14 years old, being in a Washington Avenue pizza place in the Bronx, and there was this kid, he was just looking to beg for quarters, and I had came there to just order a pizza, and dude just kept hounding me over a quarter. And I was basically scared, because this guy was just escalating his behavior, and I didn't know how to deal with that whole situation. But the whole thing is, it almost turned into a fight, because this dude was just so in his feelings over my money, and over over a video game. And again, that was a lesson that I learned back then about the whole concept of dignity. I mean, a lot of the guys like this Edward King, they don't understand the concept of dignity, because a man who has dignity understands that he is worth more than the opinion of someone online, and understands that he is worth more than the video game that he is playing. That was a lesson I learned back when I was 14 years old. And I look at this guy, Edward King, and here's a man who sacrificed intangibles like his dignity, his self-respect, his self-worth, and even his freedom, all because he was so in his feelings over a guy who said things online during a video game. And instead of him disengaging from the video game and moving on, he looked to escalate his behavior, to sate his feelings over what this person was saying, and took things to the point where he looked to, again, fly thousands of miles to go get into it with this person, when a normal person would have said, okay, my time is too precious to engage with this individual as related to this nonsense. This is a game I just play to have fun, and if this guy wants to go out here and act a fool, what I'm going to do is block this individual, or in some cases what a healthy person would do is just close the account, or contact customer service to be able to change the username or close the account, and then open up another account where they don't have to deal with this individual or their toxic behavior. Because there are some things, again, worth more than dealing with a toxic person, and you have to value yourself to the point where you say, hey, there are things more important than this guy, and things that are more important than this guy are things in my personal life that are more important that you want to achieve and accomplish, because a video game is just something people do when they want to burn time. But when you start to get older and understand the value of time, you don't want to waste time with toxic people, and you don't want to waste time with toxic people to the point where they get you so upset that you want to wind up thinking about doing physical harm to someone else, or even doing physical harm to yourself. Because in that same category is people who get pushed to the point where they want to commit suicide. And again, if people are making you that sick, then you just need to walk away from the platform, walk away from toxic people like this, because again, the internet is a big space, and you don't need to be in a space that makes you feel worthless, makes you feel inadequate, makes you and be around people who look to tear you down. No, if you cannot get the tools to be able to do what you need to do online, what you need to do is just leave that toxic space and let that game go on about its business, and let that gaming company lose your money, because if they don't value you as a customer, then you need to just walk away from that platform, and walk away from that platform for your mental health. That's what a healthy person would do in cases. I mean, I remember having a guy he was looking to stalk me on Blogger, and I just basically shut my comment section down. Again, I've dealt with these kinds of individuals. I've dealt with them as related to a guy who wanted to stalk me on Blogger, another one who wanted to allow a couple of guys with this whole passport thing, and it looks like we've got some comic book bootlegs who want to start some stuff. But the whole thing is, you have to shut these individuals down, because it's clear these individuals do not, like Edward Kang, do not understand the concept of boundaries, do not understand the concept of physical and virtual boundaries, do not have a sense of self-worth, and because they don't have a sense of self-worth, they sacrifice intangibles of their manhood over someone online and give that person power over them, because they don't understand their own personal power. And because they don't understand their personal power, what they do is go out here and look to take power by participating in acts of physical violence, when the easy way to take your power is by going out here and resolving the conflict by disengaging from the person, and maintaining your intangibles of manhood, such as your dignity, your self-respect, your self-worth, and maintaining your freedom. And sadly, Edward Kang, because he couldn't control his emotions, did not know how to think critically about this situation, did not know how to problem solve, now is in a place where he basically sacrificed his intangibles of freedom, and is now about to lose his dignity, and will be inside of the Tallahassee jail. And if he's convicted of this attempted murder, which there was a witness to in the boy's stepfather, what this guy's going to go is from being a free man to a man who is going to wind up in a crisis inside of the penitentiary if he is convicted, where he will be finding out that there are no games inside of the penitentiary, but there are games that guys like Bubba, Tiny, Roscoe, Big Dave, Melvin, and Mr. Sprinkles like to play inside of the penitentiary, with a man's front side and his backside, as they trade him for Little Debbie snack cakes, ramen noodles, packets of Crystal Light lemonade, packets of Crystal Light tea, off-brand lemon lime drink, off-brand fruit punch, off-brand grape drink, off-brand rainbow punch, off-brand apple juice, off-brand vanilla cookies, off-brand Oreo cookies, off-brand duplex cookies, off-brand vanilla wafers, off-brand ginger snaps, off-brand sugar wafers, Hunt snack pack puddings, Kit Kat candy bars, Taster's Choice coffee, hot sriracha sauce, packets of soy sauce, packets of beef, packets of turkey, packets of chicken, prison chips, Fritos chips, Snyder's pretzels, Mr. Good bars. I mean, they're going to be trading dude for all of the commissary as they play whack-a-hole with the front side and the back side. And then eventually, after they've had their fun and gotten their tickets, Mr. Sprinkles is going to come in and give him a special prize of special sauce on the front side and the back side. And after Mr. Sprinkles sprays the front side and the back side with the special sauce, he's going to call all the guys over at Cell Block D to look at his high score as he splits the cheeks open and shows his backside looking like the inside of a Louisiana crunch cake. That is what's going to happen to dude if he is convicted of these crimes. And as he's having to play, these guys are playing whack-a-hole with the front side and the back side with carbon rods, he is going to regret ever thinking to have the malice of forethought to think to fly all the way from Newark, New Jersey, and from his home to Florida to go attack this man because he will regret throwing away his freedom because all he had to do was navigate through his emotions, and if he had navigated through his emotions, he would be at home playing video games instead of being the recipient of whack-a-hole. I mean, that's what's going to happen to this guy. And again, he went from being a man who had his freedom to being a man in crisis because he didn't have the male life skills to know how to temper his discipline, to understand, okay, this is a video game, this is a guy who basically is a keyboard warrior, and again, a keyboard warrior isn't worth your time, isn't worth the time to get upset about, not worth to get the time to be upset about, because there are more important things in life to focus on, more important things in life to focus on than getting in your feelings about a dude online. No, if there's a dude online who wants to act the fool, what you do is you hit the block button and keep it moving. And if the person keeps coming to you, what you do is you change your username, or you change your whole channel, or you change everything about things, and you move on, because if this individual can't respect boundaries, then you go out here and either walk away from them, or you contact people who are higher up and let them know that these people are harassing you, and if the company doesn't provide you with the tools to be able to block these individuals, then maybe it's time to walk away from that game or whatever platform you are on, because this is also applies to social media. When people start acting antisocial, then maybe it's a time to just walk away from these platforms and keep it moving, because life is too short to be around toxic people, whether they're in a real space or a virtual space. Life is too short to be dealing with toxic people, and the way you deal with toxic people is to just walk away from them and leave them to be in the misery in their own company, because it's better to leave them in the misery of their own company than wind up becoming a man in crisis. Now, if you want to learn how to break out of the paradigm of dysfunctional behaviors that lead to a man winding up on a road to dysfunction and a self-destructive cycle, you can pick up my book, The Man Crisis, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find The Man Crisis at other online booksellers like Drafted Digital, Google Play, Barnes & Noble, and big box retailers like Walmart and Target. And if you want to learn more about what happens to individuals who go online and learn a pattern of dysfunctional behavior, you can pick up my book, Stop Simping in Cyberspace, and that book will tell you how to identify all types of online predators and online predatory behavior and learn a solution to how to deal with it. And if you want to see me make more videos about the man crisis, you can send a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited, The Man Crisis. Learn why so many men are struggling to find their way in an increasingly gynocentric world in The Man Crisis. Get your copy of The Man Crisis in paperback and Kindle Unlimited today. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.